Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. And for today, we have lots of things that people were grateful for, but it felt like there was kind of this overall feeling of fullness and finishing and just feeling the grace of, that makes up the difference. Even feeling accomplished, acceptance. And I had something else written. I think that word fullness actually describes more what I'm feeling this morning from the things that were shared. And so that's what we're going to focus on for our 90-second private silent meditation is gratitude for fullness. And that could mean lots of different things. So just open your mind and heart, listen with just pure intent to be receiving inspiration specifically for you. And I've got the timer set for 90 seconds. We'll do a private silent meditation on gratitude for fullness. Begin. All right, well, that seems like that went really fast. Maybe because I just feel like I'm opening up a whole new understanding of something. Let me just finish this thought here. Okay. This is, I feel like, another one of those layers of learning on top of something that I've already taught within the Lord's Way to Wealth, but it's just like another little piece that's been added in. It started out by feeling full versus being satiated with food. I know, most Americans, and me included, when I would sit down to eat, I would eat until I was full, and I'd be like, oh, I'm full, and just like lean back in the chair, and it's like, I can't eat another bite. That is kind of what this feeling of, quote, full means to me as far as eating goes. But I've changed the way that I eat. And when I stop eating, it's not when I can't eat another bite, it's when it's enough. When it's like, I have this feeling of being satiated, and there's like a even more of a conscious level of it's enough. And that word, that phrase, it's enough, is kind of like the alternate to, oh, I'm so full. It's like, that's enough. It's enough. And it's a really good, like my body feels so much better on the inside. I just don't feel like heavy like I used to. And then the other, it just immediately switched over to money. It's enough. I've had this battle with God for years and years and years, where I would go to him and I'd say, I need this much. This is what I need. And please give it to me, And now I go to him, and this is kind of the new little piece of level of learning that I've gotten, is I rely on God for it all. Because in the past, I would rely on him for it all, but I would go to him with a specific thing and I'd say, you need to give me this. This is what I need. And now I, am just doing his work. And so when things come up where there's not enough money in the bank for, the specific Inspired shortcut that I have, I rely on him for it all. But it's like totally calm. I'm totally at peace. And I let him show me what part of that is mine. So instead of going to him and saying, you need to give me this, it's like, this is what you have given me to do. What are the specific things that I can do to help bring it about? And also, I'm super open to like things to come at me from all different directions, from any different way. So I don't immediately go to try to figuring out, how do I make this work? Where can I go to get this money? Whatever. I never ask those questions anymore. It's just, I go to him, you've given me this to do, and I'm open to how that gets to get accomplished. And it's just like the most peaceful thing. And it's been really interesting. I would say like 99% of the time, a lot of times it goes right up to the day, and even like the day past when I think that it is supposed to be there, or like it's like the deadline for it to be there. It's even like a day or two past. And if I had gotten frantic and been like, okay, I got to find this because there's the deadline right here, I got to get this done, I would never have experienced the miracle of one of my people that was on my daily gratitude every day. This has been a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. He texted me out of the blue when I needed $4,000 to launch my book, The 7 Gateways, and I did not have it. And I just left it up to God and was just open to, how does this get accomplished? He texted me that day when I found out how much money I needed and said, I want to help you launch your book. I think what you're doing is amazing. And I have some money and I would love to donate that, contribute that to your launching your book. And he said, how much do you need? And I said, $4,000. And he said, that's the amount that I was thinking of. And so he sent me that $4,000 to get me on the road to launching that book. And from that point forward, and I believe that it was because of my faith, but not the faith in, okay, God, I need $4,000. Where's that going to come from? You need to give it to me. It wasn't that. It was, I totally let go of it. I'm like, okay, $4,000. I know that's going to, it's going to happen because this book needs to be published. And just left it open to basically what's my part. And that was the beginning. It ended up costing quite a bit more than that. And there was a lot that was my part. But that was my first real piece of evidence. And I'll always hold on to that as just like a moment in time, a shift, a point of no return, where I can never doubt God again, that he has the capability to provide the way, to pave the way for anything that he inspires me to do, to get done. Phil?
For me, fear and hunger feel very similar to me. In fact, sometimes I just want to eat because I feel like I want to fill up that the void that I feel inside. And so I when I do eat, then I feel satisfied, and I feel like, you know, that I've been full, that I'm full and fullness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that my brain just kind of, relates the two together. So sometimes I just want to eat. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm grateful to know that, with that there are other, like, sometimes that what I need is not to eat, but to connect, to connect with
Mm-hmm.
God and to let Him fill me and take away the fear. So,
Beautiful. I love that. And that's really a natural response because back in caveman days, if you had fear, sometimes it was fear for your life, but a lot of times that survival mode, the fight or flight that we get into, this fear that we get into is because of, the possibility that we're going to die. And hunger is something that people die from. And so, that's one thing that we can easily, I'm just going to go get something to eat because then I know I won't die. So that's just an easy fix. And I'm calling it a fix on purpose because that's the way addiction works. If we are experiencing fear, anxiety, some of these low vibration emotions, if we immediately go to a behavior that we think will fill us, then as soon as we're not full again, or even as soon as that food is gone, then we look around and we're like, oh, now what do I do? Because I still feel that void inside of me, because the void is not usually, in America at least, in most cases, the void is not really hunger. You're not dying of hunger. And so you're trying to fill yourself up with something that is a false illusion. And we're satisfied for the moment, but that void is being caused by something else. And so, yeah, and connection is a big part of um, stepping above survival. When you're in a survival state, you're not thinking about connection, you're thinking about me. It's like, I got to survive. You can fend for yourself. But when we can raise ourselves above that survival, that fear level, then all of a sudden we see other people. And a lot of times that void is because of lack of connection. Thanks, Phil. Mary.
Hi, I'm grateful for the fullness of God's love. I love how that sounds. For the fullness of his love and trust. My heart is full. My life is full. Everything I need, I'm just full of everything I need. And it's always there. I felt the fullness of grace and knowledge and strength. Like I said, just everything. The capacity to love and see others, and to have a heart full of love, to have my cup runneth over, so that I can share and I can give. It's just so full. Life is so full, even amidst the temptation to worry or wonder or like ask or like, no, I just trust and let it come. That fullness is just there. It's a fullness, it's a feeling, it's a knowing.
Well, so beautiful. I love how you've kind of helped us to see that, I talked about full, it's enough. And you talked about full to the infinite degree, full to overflowing. And I feel like gratitude is such a powerful key to be able to shift from, if we're like stressed out because we're full to overflowing with responsibilities or, bills or whatever it is that we're full to overflowing. If we just shift the gratitude and just say, wow, I am full. My heart is full. My life is full. The love that I feel from God is full. I am full to overflowing. It just totally takes it shoots you from, being like oppressed to being on top of the world. What a beautiful
Mhm.
thought. Thank you. Okay, so we've got Robert and then Kathy and Crystal. And if you have some background noise, go ahead and mute until it's your turn.
So, fulfillness is really hard for me to comprehend. Phil used the word fear and full, so to speak, or hunger, and I get that. You talked about caveman and fight or flight, but are we missing, or am I missing, speaking for myself, the thought of we have to take today's of what we understand is fulfilling and try to project that of something hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, and we assume that it was the same, or thousands and thousands of years ago that it was the same, when the odds are the reality of then and today are just completely different. We don't have to worry so much about traveling and being becoming captive in or enslaved in somebody else's tribe. I would use the word tribe as so many organizations use, because it seemed to me that tribes, if you were out of a particular tribe, as they would have history has called them, you were enslaved. You either
There's a lot of
became
fear.
loyal to their so it's almost like how do you become fulfilled? It's like you see pictures of the Titanic, but have you ever stopped to smell the inside of the Titanic as it was those few days that it was afloat? I mean, that would create a bigger fulfillment of understanding this if you were on that ship, because so often we try to project ourselves as in certain realms, and they're clouded because we don't have the full picture. We don't have the full understanding of what it really was. We just project that in our today's world. I just wonder if it's just really how truly fulfilling. The fulfillment today has got to have been completely different than fulfillment of yesteryear.
Yeah, what an interesting thought to, as we read about something in history, in the Bible or in, I know there's some really wonderful books about our forefathers that founded this land, and to be able to time travel back and be in the moment using all of our senses, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, the sense of and actually just being there in the moment and fully understand what did fullness mean in that moment. And then I can only imagine that when we come back to the present, it would be like, wow, I'm so blessed. Like, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine, because I went back there and used my senses to be able to, put myself in that place. What fullness meant during the times of Jesus, for example, versus what fullness means today, and how much more free time, I use that word loosely, free time, to be able to create a life of fullness for ourselves. We're not enslaved. Those of us here listening to this call, you're not trapped in slavery. You don't necessarily have fear of other tribes like we did, like people did back then, and to really be able to compare, and what gratitude that brings.
Yes. I just wonder how elusive fulfillment really is.
Yeah. Interesting. Mary, want to add, Phil, as you spoke, I felt how fear and hunger are much the same thing, same feeling. Yes, it's like that same feeling inside. I could see and feel that. Appreciate that great thought. Beautiful. Thank you. Kathy.
The thought that really popped up to me, fullness, I could only think of the fullness of the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
And when Mary was talking about filled with God's love, the gospel is a gospel is all about God's love. And
Mm-hmm.
then continuing with, we can be full of fear or we can be full of faith.
Mm-hmm.
We can fill our minds with useless information, or we can fill our minds with beautiful things that will continue to help us in our path. So
Mm-hmm.
just the fullness of the gospel was the main thing that popped out to me.
Beautiful. Thank you. As you were talking about like the fullness of love or those things, I was thinking of Christ. It's when I read in the scriptures, he is full of equity. And I've had, some in past daily GPS where I've been pondering on that. I've received some information about that's like the equity on a house. You pay a certain amount, and the equity between what you paid and what the worth is the difference, the value that is just like free, money that you get when you get ready to sell the house. It's just like, wow, all this equity that's been built up is mine. And I love that feeling of Christ being full of equity so that every single one of us can borrow from it. And he's always full of equity. We all borrow to make up the difference on, where we fall short, and he's still full. It's that living water concept.
That equity truly is the value.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. Crystal.
So tomorrow is my mediation with my husband. We've been married almost 23 years. And I just feel gratitude for my life. I feel fullness. I have food. I have children. I have cousins, joyful activities. I mean, it's kind of like tomorrow is the day we go to the cemetery for this marriage. But I'm grateful. Like I had 14 happy years. And then I had 8 years where he was threatening to divorce me. But that was a gift too, because I came to find Jesus and rely on his love. And I'm just so grateful. Like I said, well, what do I do about all these good memories? And my mom said, you go visit them. You can visit them. You don't have to stay there. And then you go on. And I feel like I'm floating on prayers and all the new things I get to build. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited about. I'm going to be teaching art workshops on the weekends. My kids leave. And I never would have done that until they move out in 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just so full, so blessed.
Wow, that's so awesome, Crystal. I'm just like feeling full, feeling fullness with you as you're talking, that regardless of what situations, happen in our lives, and especially people as they come in and out of our lives, what a wonderful thought to, because you think of like a eulogy that happens in a funeral where my husband and I just attended a funeral of his cousin just recently. And throughout his life, he lived a very selfish life. And Clint says, well, I hope they don't ask me to speak because I don't know if I could say really very much good about him. But they did ask the perfect people to speak, because as we were sitting in the audience and they were talking about him, Clint and I kept looking at each other and we're like, I never knew that about him. And like, wow, I do remember about him. That was a really fun time, and we were able to remember all the fun times and learn some things about him that we hadn't known before. And it was such a beautiful experience. And we left that funeral feeling very grateful for having known him and loved him and been able to spend that time with him. And it was such a difference than before we went to the funeral. And so I think that's really an awesome opportunity that you have to kind of create this eulogy and to visit, just like we go to the cemetery and visit people that have passed on and remember all the good things. That's a really wonderful, wonderful frame of mind. Thank you, Crystal. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process? I'm not sure if I missed anybody that had unmuted. So if you have and you have something to say, go ahead. This is your time. All right, let's go ahead and just take a deep breath. And right now in this moment, we have had the opportunity to just look at our lives and the situations in our lives, whatever they are, and feel that feeling of fullness and the gratitude of just the full to overflowing of all the blessings and the wonderful gifts that we have been given and that we have cultivated in our lives. Go ahead and take one more deep breath and just continue to intensify that feeling of fullness. And as you connect with God, this is a really great opportunity to even feel in his presence that you are expressing those words of gratitude to him for the fullness that he has given you in your life. And right now in this present moment, whatever is happening in your life, just that feeling of fullness, of everything being perfect and complete. And right now in this moment is also an opportunity to start a new chapter. It's time to say, I'm full, it's finished, it's done. And it's time to move on to something new. If that is where your situation is and you're feeling that that is perfect and appropriate, this is a really great opportunity to do that. I'm full, I'm finished, it's done. Thank you. And I'm ready for the next. And if you're in the middle of something and you're feeling like it's not done, and you maybe got a little bit of stress of where all the stuff's going to come from to finish it, then this is the time right now to express gratitude for the fullness that you experience right now in this moment, that everything has been provided up to this point. Everything you have, everything you are full right now in this moment. And that and embracing the idea that you will be given everything that you need from this point forward. So whatever stage you're in, just feel that feeling of fullness right now in this moment. And listen for any limiting beliefs that might be coming up during this meditation, during this exercise. Feeling fullness in the moment. And with those limiting beliefs, there's always a cost. So if you just take a moment and look at the cost of those limiting beliefs, and then make a choice right now. You can keep those limiting beliefs, or if you're seeing that they are costing you in feeling full and complete and finished, then you can give yourself permission to choose some new beliefs. So if you're ready to let go of those limiting beliefs and choose some new beliefs, give yourself permission to choose some new beliefs, then say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So what are those new beliefs? 2 to 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief, will allow you to feel that feeling of fullness, complete, whole, perfect, finished. What new beliefs can you step into? And also look around for some evidence that supports these new beliefs. Maybe these are new concepts that you're stepping into. And it's would serve you to remember a time when this new belief was the truth, when you felt like it was the truth. And just listen for those memories to pop up that help to support these new beliefs as truth. And as those memories come to you, just feel the gratitude start to come with them of having evidence that these new beliefs are true. And feeling just full of gratitude. And if you're struggling with coming up with some new of some old experiences, then allow yourself to be filled with faith and the equity of Christ, that he can help your unbelief, and you can have the faith that he is going to bring you some experiences that will support these new beliefs. So either way, feeling the truth of these new beliefs, whether evidence from past experience or evidence that is faith in new experiences that will be coming. And take one more deep breath. And one thing, the one most important thing that you could do today to create evidence, even more solid evidence that these new beliefs are true. What is your inspired shortcut today to create evidence of your fullness? And in a moment, I'm going to be opening it up for some shares. We'll have time for probably 2 to 3, maybe 4 shares, depending on how the time goes. And while you're gathering your thoughts and coming back to the present, I would love to invite any of you, if you're struggling with this at all, to reach out to me. AskWylene.com will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute private mentoring session with me. And I would love to have a conversation with you to help you to be able to step through this, whatever it is that you're stuck on that's not allowing you to feel that feeling of fullness, of complete and whole and perfect. Is there someone that would like to share something about their experience today? Tyree?
So it was really funny. My limiting belief was that I don't know enough. And
for anybody that doesn't know Tyree, she is like the perpetual student. She knows everything.
And so anyway, it was just, I laughed when that came up. And so I got a lot of my new beliefs from stuff that you just said, but one of them is I'm full of knowledge and readiness. I am inspired to share the perfect wisdoms.
Yes. Yes. I hope you will paste those all around your house and remember that, because you are definitely ready to start sharing all of your wealth of knowledge. Thank you, Tyree. Who else? Mary?
Yes, my limiting belief was what if something better comes along? And the cost of that is I just can't commit. So I know what is next. I'm working, or I'm making my life beautiful. My world is full of joy. I just, the things that just came to me, I create a beautiful space to live. I have a beautiful space to live. I trust myself.
Beautiful. I thought of when my brother got married, he's a very wonderful cook, and so is his wife. In fact, his wife has been, she's a caterer, and her whole family are like amazing at cooking, like just about anything. And when they got married, we went down to her family home, and they had this wonderful spread of food. And I went through the line and got filled my plate, and I got full and to the point where I'm like, I can't eat another bite full because it was so good. And then as more people came, they started bringing out more and more different things. And the final thing that they brought out was this salmon that they had cooked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to have a little bit of that. And when you said that, it's like, what if they bring out salmon at the end that's been like roasted and it's like dripping with wonderful goodness? And I realized that it was all good. Every single morsel of it was good. And whether I got, the salmon, or whether I got the roast pork, or whether I got the shrimp, or whatever it was that they brought out, it's all good. And that also, the thought came to me, we really have to rely on God's inspiration for what is best for me, because it's all good, but there's something that is specifically best for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I I haven't committed to a place to live. I haven't signed a lease. I keep taking my time. I have to leave Friday, so I've got to sign a lease today.
There's
But
gonna be
also,
one place that's perfect for you.
I know. And I changed it to I trust myself. I fully trust my choices.
Beautiful. I love that. Any other shares? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been an awesome call. Very bright, very happy. I've got a big smile on my face. I'm just feeling like super full of gratitude for everything in my life. And it just has given me some new insights. And I know it sounds like all of you have experienced that as well. So wonderful call. Thank you so much for being here. We'll look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And love you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.